Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Huobi Weekly Market Chat. And today, I'm Johnny. I'm your host, and Dave is also here. Today, we are going to go through some important things about current crypto development. We'll focus on Web3 and also social finance development. We are going to talk about some gems out there, and also we will discuss why we are so focused on researching into Web3 and also social finance in this stage. And so let's start. And before we go to discuss the topics that in Web3 and also social finance, let's have a look at current market, right? So let's look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is now trading at 20K to 20K and 300, and now I think it's probably facing resistance at 0.618 Fibonacci level, and it's now brought down to a lower level, and we had a major drop from mid-August till now, and probably because of the FOMC meeting and the bearish news that released from Jay Powell and also Jackson Hole about the economy, and they are going to tighten the financial conditions, and therefore crypto reacted in a crypto took that as a negative piece of information, and now prices went down. And if we look at ETH, we are still seeing some support from 0.618 Fibonacci level, because that's a pretty golden support for most of the trends and also cycles in crypto, and this is a relevant support line that we can also rely on, and we are seeing some strength in ETH, because as we can see, it bounced from the 0.618 to now trading at 1600. Around that, we have already had a 13% of growth in last few days since 29th of August, and that we can take this as a sign of strength, because it bounced back from the Fibonacci level, and then we are now recovering from the previous downtrend. Also, it was dragged down due to the negative news that released by the FOMC meeting, Jay Powell and also Jackson Hole, to crash the economy. So let's see how it goes, and if we found support here, and probably we can also trend higher if we see strength coming in, also new demand stepping in later on. So let's get back to the main topic of today. We are going to discuss Web3 and also social finance, and Dave is an expert in the Web3. Dave has been researching into a lot of the latest development in Web3, for example, storage, computing, also middleware. And I believe Dave will teach us a lot of things today. So I'm going to throw a lot of questions at Dave. And we are going to learn a lot from Dave, right? So these are three important things that we are going to discuss: storage, computing, also middleware. So maybe we'll have a question first. I have a question for Dave first. Like we have to have a general concept towards why these three elements are important things in Web3. So what do you think about it, Dave? Why is storage important, computing, also middleware? Why should we pay attention to its development? Will it change the development of, maybe they will, just induce a new trend in crypto that we are going to bet on, right?
Cool. So a lot of people more and more people are looking into Web3. But
Yeah.
Web3 is basically like a decentralized Web2, where the key elements are basically like you can own the web, and you can edit the web, and you can prove that prove your ownership on the web. It's more than NFT. So NFT is an example of the Web3. So like from a customer or consumer standpoint, so if you buy an NFT, the transaction data is proved on the blockchain and stored on the blockchain. So wherever you see the transaction record, basically people know that you own the NFT. That's basically that you edit the web, the blockchain, and you own the web. That's basically the web JPEG that you own it, and you can prove your ownership. Like, when people check out on the on transaction data, they're probably seeing that you only JPEG. So we can extend this concept more to other aspects of the Web 2. So basically to bring more of the editing and owning the web onto different sectors of the Web 2, like storage. So like computing, like the middle elements in between different webs. Like for example, storage. So storage is very important, right? Storage is important in Web 2. Like for example, like if you have a Mac, so basically you store personal data like your files, your the docs and your notes and stuff, and into your computer. So basically your computer has a RAM to process the instant power. That's basically computing, and also a small or tiny hard disk to record and store data. So in Web 2, they also bring this personal storage and computing basically onto a large hub like data center, AWS, and also computing, cloud computing like Google Drive. So for example, what to explain with Google Drive is like if you open a Google Sheet, or a Google Doc. So basically you're doing a Word document online, and Google is basically helping you to compute the documentation power. So basically Google is the Web 2 computing and so storage, like storing your JPEG or storing your docs and Google Sheet and also a lot of documents. So but there is a part of centralization that if Google fails or if Google cheats on you, that's an assumption, but there's an issue of privacy. So if Google uses your personal data without acknowledgement, then which is basically that's possible. For example, Facebook or the big tech and stuff, so your data is going to be compromised. So basically, we need to have a Web3 storage where people have to store their data on chain or online, that they do not necessarily have to provide enough or a large amount of storage, cost or storage power or storage capacity. Like don't have to buy a 100 hard disk, or 100, a desktop to store your data, but you can also do cloud computing without a single point of like centralization. So that's basically like a Web3 AWS for the storage and also computing. So middleware is also another concept, like a middle of the different Web3 elements. So do you have any thoughts on this concept of Web3, Johnny?
Yeah, I think right now we are paying a lot of attention to storage because as we have seen in the latest development in crypto, in the last bull run, we have a very massive growth of decentralized finance, and later on we are now focusing on making the blockchain technology into more to have more utilization. So definitely storage is one of the things that we every day we have to use it, right? We store our data on the internet and we have access it, and we own the data. And the thing that we have to be aware of is that the data ownership and also data verification. I think maybe storage has a very important part in these two ways, right? So in storage, maybe we have to prove that that part of data is is verified and also stored by an owner, and then the other owner will have no access to it. Privacy and also security is also two important things that we have to consider in storage, right? But as for computing, I'm a little bit confused because you mentioned something about AWS, and we actually are borrowing like Google's computing services, and what does it have to do with blockchain technology? I'm not very familiarized with this topic. Maybe can you explain a little bit more about it?
Yeah, cool. So basically, blockchain computing is another topic. It's like on top of storage, we have to provide, sort of like network effects of computing power. So what does it mean? It means that it's like, I have a Mac, so a Mac, so I have like, for example, like 32 gigabytes of, sort of like for example, let's say RAM. So basically, I only use like 4 GB. So like what's left with the 28 GB. So I don't have any like capacity or any time, or I don't need that. So but I bought it for my for example, for my MacBook Pro. So what do I have to do? Can I land it over to a blockchain network? So can this computing power help the computing of these of other users on the blockchain network? So in blockchain computing, yes, that's the case. That is a yes. So like if you are connected to the Kudos blockchain network, so if you are the user and you want a cloud computing client, like can help you to compute some codes or some programs, or they can help you to store and compute, or to provide sort of like Google Sheets stuff, or a decentralized Gmail or email or stuff. They can help to provide the computing or the processing or the data transfer and processing procedures, and also power to the other users. So like in my case, so if I have like 32 GB, so I don't have to use all the remaining is like 28 GB. So I can bend over to a blockchain network, and if you're the Kudos user, you can borrow my computing power for the RAM. So basically, for example, they have to pay the Kudos, like the users have to pay the Kudos governance or the payment token. So I receive it, and I'm the computing provider. So I have to compute your stuff. But meanwhile, it's like I think most of the users are concerned with like I do not want to jeopardize my privacy issues. So like if I borrow your computing power, you're computing my stuff. So I do not want to know some sort of like personal or secret content, like personal data, like privacy, like where you go, what you bought and stuff. So basically on blockchain network, so these contents are encrypted and verified, but their encryption, and also the encryption is also verified by the user and the blockchain validators. So whenever, for example, let's say I'm the computing provider, I have to compute your stuff or your content or video. I have no idea what's inside about the content. I just let it out, so I receive a fee, and I compile it and process the data. So whenever it's finished, I receive the end user fees or the payment. So that's it. No privacy issues. That's my standpoint, I think. So does it clear out your concerns?
Yeah, you explained it very, clearly. Actually, so basically, in the future, probably with more utilization in, the lending, also borrowing of computation power of, electronic devices like my MacBook and also my iPhone, I can actually help the development of different protocols in blockchain, right? So some protocols can, decentralized computation power of different stakeholders. Like I can also participate in this protocol by like lending out my MacBook's computation power, and also take part in some verification process, and also that kind of stuff. So right. So as for storage, it also plays a part in decentralization of data. So like I can store some of my data somewhere else, and also it does not have to take up take up a lot of memory from my hard disk, and it actually is quite fascinating, these two developments, right? So yeah, and middleware is also another thing that we are not very familiarized with, because it's kind of a new stuff to us. Like in my knowledge, I take middleware as an agent connecting some Web 2.0, some original existing softwares to cryptocurrency, right? Do I take that right? So in terms of middleware, its part in the development of crypto is like facilitating the growth of Web 2.0 and migrating Web 2.0 to Web 3. Am I right, Dave?
Yep, cool. So you're definitely right. So like middleware also has to deal with other things, other aspects. So like for example, you know we need a lot of like middlemen or a software or elements between blockchain network in order to fill up or to compose or to to compose the whole Web3. So like so now we have Web3, like also for the people know about I guess it's like infrastructure like layering blockchains like Solana, Near, Ethereum, or Aptos stuff. So in our applications like for example like DeFi or lending and borrowings, these are also like sort of like Web3, but it's like it's more than that. So there are two elements that, but like can it fill up or can it compose the totality of the whole Web3? I don't think so. So I think there are more and more in the middleware elements that they have to do or we have to deal with to build in order to build a total decentralized adding ownership web so that people can enjoy it without jeopardizing people's privacy. And so like so excuse me. So like I think middleware is like for example, like I think there are 7 layers in Web3. So like the base layer is like in infrastructure. So the second layer is basically like Oracle, like chaining that links the the data from the real world to as a off-chain blockchain network, which is basically chaining, and they the chaining to reflect the price oracle, like the price data inside a system called the oracle system, and respect that to blockchain networks. So like on Web3, basically we have is like a sort of like a data layer. So it's like the graph protocol and also API 3. Basically, what these protocols do is like, for example, like the graph, it basically breaks down or to bridges out the data from blockchain in a coding in language called the GraphQL. So to break it down, in simple terms, it's basically like if you go to the Graph Protocol website, you just type a few lines of sort of like code or a general language or stuff. So basically, you can know about like Bouncer or like Banker or like Uniswap, their transaction data or stuff. So basically, this is what the Graph Protocol is doing. So on the other side of the data protocol, so like the API 3 is also like doing the application program interface. So API is basically like you have a piece of data, a big piece of data on a blockchain network, say like AAVE now I. If I had I do it with the API, to bridge the data out, it's basically like your data is bridged into my API 3, like API system. So I have a lot of data and also an indexer. So I get this data out to the user. So I can also easily, to see the daily transaction data or users or churn rate or sort of like we just like a totality or a general concept, overview of the Arbic, ecosystem data. So like on layer 4, basically the middleware is like the bridge, between blockchains like Solana to ETH bridge, like Wormhole bridge, previously like Terra bridge, and also the now is multi-chain bridge, any protocol, any bridge, and also the Avalanche bridge, a lot of stuff, this is like a bridge and interoperability with Cosmos Hub like Atom as ATOM as the ecosystem token, and also like to connect between different blockchains at this middleware level. So on level 5, I think it's like a storage. So basically, they store data between blockchains and all the Web3 system. So on top of this, layer 5 storage, we have the layer 6 computing layer, like lending or borrow of computing based on that storage layer. So on layer 7, we finally have the storage and computing and processing of data, and finally we can have applications like entertainment, watching movies, watching videos, like RenoCon, and also like the audience, the music entertainment, like piano and stuff. So basically, that's the Web3 stacks I would really want to introduce to our audience, and have a takeaways on to them, like really have a general concept on what kind of aspects that Web3 is going to, and to find the gems inside the Web3 stacks. So what do you think about that, Johnny?
Yeah, I think yeah, you explained very well, and I think let's move on to details and talking about the storage, right? So on to the next slide, we have a lot of protocols and also chains that take part in development of storage in blockchain. For example, Arweave, Stratos, also cross network. There are a lot of big things like Filecoins and also BitTorrent, Storage, a lot of them. So probably we'll only cover some maybe one or two, so that we have some takeaway from these protocols, right? So actually, I know you mentioned a lot about Arweave, right? This protocol is about making storage decentralized. So you have already explained in the introduction of storage that if we want to decentralize storage, then we have to store we have to break down the information and also the data, and then we store them according to different parts of the whole piece of information, right? So maybe I'll store a bit of the whole picture, and then you store another bit of the whole picture, and then when I need that data, I will retrieve that data from you, and it's verified on the blockchain, right? So maybe you can take it more technically about Arweave. So why is it so outstanding in your opinion?
Cool. So I think Arweave has a good standpoint with the tokenomics and also the product solution on analyzing if it's or whether it is a really a gem on a a block a Web3 blockchain bet. So basically, like I think before coming on conclusions on Arweave, we get to have to introduce or to tell or illustrate to our audience like what are the details of the storage. It's like in Web3 storage, basically we have three aspects of the gems or protocols. Like for example, it's like storage on a network basis. That's basically the left column. We see now on the table. That's basically categories. So storage on a network basis is basically like you are storing on with a piece of information that's pretty big or small, no matter it's big or small. So basically, it's break it down, and it's store it pieces by pieces on the different like miners or validators onto the whole network. So the whole network owns the data. That's the most important point on a blockchain network. So it's like the like the network, the whole network owns the data instead of one or two single miners or validators own your data. That's basically like others. So like on Web3, like never own storage. So basically we have Arweave, Stratos, cross network, zero chain, SC prime. So basically what they doing, they store your data. So they break down the data you want to store or the content you want to store, and to distribute it, with the blockchain validators or network, to distribute it, break down in pieces, so like for example, if I have a video of me, having fun with an like gym payment, let's say gym payment, like so I'll break down the soundtrack of the hey bro Jim, hey Jim, so what kind of gems to pick on tech stocks. So so for example, if Jim said is Apple, so the soundtrack of this, I think it's Apple from Jim, is stored in a minor A. So the soundtrack is stored in minor A. So like video, when the video like visual content is stored on like minor B, so on like for example the heading or the pre-video information like the size, the record time, like who is with it, like Jim Cramer, or the purpose of the filming, like is reverse Jim Cramer, like so this information is also stored by the miner C, so these three miners are storing different pieces of information without knowing, without acknowledging, or without really understanding or knowing that what kind of content they are really storing, what the details. So basically, the privacy is protected, and also the whole network is, owning the storage of the data. So like in the category two, so basically we have peer-to-peer network bases. So like IPFS, so like in this category, it's basically you're storing data on a peer-to-peer basis. Like for example, on Filecoin, so I can break down my like files into three components. So it's also stored in different like miners. So like, but in this case, like since I know it's a peer-to-peer network, so basically I'm referring specific part of my storage data or content to each of my storage providers. So basically, like what it means is like if I have James Cramer soundtrack, I will appoint miner A, so let's say Johnny, to store my data. So if I have James Cramer video content, I'll assign to say Kirsty to store my data. So Kirsty also knows like what kind of data I'm asking her to store. So privacy is not really protected on this standpoint, at a certain extent. So like and so like this is peer-to-peer network, storage basis. And also the final category is like coordination platform. So the coordination platform is basically like it's like a Web 2.5, version of the storage. It's basically like you are having a coordination platform, like you coordinate different storage providers, like say it's a Johnny's protocol. So Johnny's protocol is responsible for storing different pieces of data. So Johnny finds that Aviv has a good pricing on storing wheels. So Johnny also finds that Filecoin or Elastos have sort of like good pricing on storing words or text. And Johnny also finds that Storage has a good sort of a pricing on storing like soundtrack. So the Johnny protocol basically just combines these packages of storage, so to provide a sort of like economically sensible pricing that's basically cheap prices for the customers. So this is basically like coordination platform like Web 2.0 version of storage. So back to the question is like why Aave is the sort of like comparatively is gem. So basically I have to say that there's no investment advice here, and there's basically I have no business partnership or relationship with Aave, but I gotta explain it, on the product solution on Ivy. So I read the white paper, yellow paper, and white paper in the documentation of the Ivy. It's basically what it stands out is basically like it has a one payment and permanent storage solution for Ivy. That's just the only one that has that solution across all, basically 99% of the blockchain storage protocols. Basically, if you see Filecoin, you gotta pay, for a certain period of the storage as a contract period. So at the expiration date, you either got to renew a contract to have a payment, or it just expires. So like you can ask them to store until you renew the contract. So that's basically not like Web3. So Web3 you can edit and own it and prove your ownership, very long or permanently proof of ownership. So like for a pay as you go, or there's an expiration date, and it's not like a proof of concept of Web3. So basically, what it stands out is Aave, that Aave really has a good solution for one payment permanent storage. So what do you think about that, Johnny?
Yeah, to wrap up, I think you know, if we have to compare all these protocols, and then we are going to compare their their edges, advantages, and also benefits they offer. For example, you mentioned that with only this protocol has the solution for one-off payment, right? And as for Filecoin, it's like peer-to-peer transaction. So if you have to consider mass adoption of decentralization of storage, what we have to consider, like I'm asking about the question of how to how is Arweave going to be massively adopted in the future, right? So right now we currently don't seem to have a lot of incentive to share our data and to and to store our data on a decentralized basis. So I'm just curious about the future development of Arweave. So what do you think about its adoption roadmap? Like how is it going to have more people to use this technology? What do you think about it, Dave?
So I think like marketing is important in telling people the importance of permanent storage. So on the in the future adoption, I think we really have to break it down into simple terms for our consumers. So basically, like you have Google, but you got to pay for a premium account to store a mass amount of data. So like if you have an Office version of the Microsoft, you can't store a lot of data, but you got to pay a lot. So like it also has a expiration date for a contract renewal. So I think marketing is very important. Like we tell our consumers like what's the importance of one payment. So you pay one time, and you don't have to worry about the content of what you're storing, and what time and where and what sort of stuff that you're retrieving for storage. And this is very important. Like speaking about next, it's like when we see the technology of Arweave and IPFS and also different like stratus. So basically on the left upper picture, we basically have like the recall block, and on the the next one. So also the left down corner, we have the IPFS picture. So basically it explains the peer-to-peer network. So on the right picture, Johnny, it's basically
Yeah.
like we have the Stratus, Stratus network. There's a picture on the right. So what I want to see the picture is basically the IPF. So on the picture on the right, so basically we have Stratus station data mesh, and then we have blockchain, and left we have decentralized computation, and also we have edge computing. On top of the Stratus data mesh, we have decentralized storage. Storage is also used for content delivery networks. Right one is like this, connected to NFT, like platform. Now on top of that, it also has a coordination platform for IPFS and Arweave and for the computing power acceleration. So these sort of stuff are really are better at marketing to our consumers. So basically, we really have to have a great explanation and illustration on what Web3 storage is basically doing. So this is very important for the mass adoption of the decentralized storage solution. So on the next one, basically we have another table. So what the table is telling us about is like the hardware cost. So I think economically, we also have to incentivize our consumers to use the decentralized storage network. So basically, I just sum up with the hardware cost. For Arweave, Filecoin, and Stratus as different categories of decentralized storage. Like Aries is like it uses like a network-based storage. So Filecoin is like a peer-to-peer based storage. So Stratus is like combined two and also a coordination platform. So basically, we know that the total hardware cost as a reference for like Arweave as a miner. So you provide storage as a storage provider, right? So provide some sort of like capacity like a good hard disk, a good laptop to store other people's data without jeopardizing other people's privacy. Basically, you have 175, 750, dollars for the being a miner for Aave. But Filecoin, you can see that it's like 548 dollars for as an initial cost for Filecoin minimally, and I mean it's like 5 times for Aave. So basically, for Stratus as a testnet, we only need 910 of the a total hardware cost for being a validator. So basically, I think that economically, Filecoin, I mean, the Aave makes more sense to incentivize people to be the storage provider as a blockchain miner. Blockchain miner as a equivalent term for the storage provider, blockchain storage provider for Aave. So basically, I think that's pretty awesome. It's economically incentivize people to become the storage provider for the adoption of the mass blockchain network. So speaking about mass adoption, we also have to see the next table. So on the next table, we got to see the technology of different protocols. So basically, like we got to know what the technology is really about when you're dealing with mass adoption, or how much of the mass is going to adopt our you know um um blockchain protocol. So from Aave, you have we have consensus model for proof of random access. For Filecoin, we have the proof of storage, space time, and replication. For Stratus, we have proof of stake, proof of authority, and proof of traffic. So I think we also have to see the scalability of these three protocols. So for the first two, Aave is like a proof of work version, but it's proof of access. Filecoin is also like proof of work. It's like proof of storage, space time, replication is work. But for like Stratus, it has a different sense of proof of stake, and also combined with centralization version of the proof of stake. That's basically proof of authority, and also the proof of work version of the proof of traffic. So on scalability, I think like three of these protocols have a good level of scalability. But like I think Stratus, we have to deal with the mass adoption, efficiency. Like it has three consensus layers. So if you process something on 3 layers, basically we have to have a good solution to stack on all the three of the consensus together for Stratus. But for like Filecoin and Aave, we basically only have sort of like for Filecoin we also have like three different types of consensus. But basically we only have to deal with one consensus one time. Like if I store, I have to deal with proof of storage. If I have to store for a definite or a period of time, I just have to prove my space time, do the proof of space time, proof of work. It's better, processing than Stratus, basically. Before Aave, we only have to deal with one, one consensus layer. So I think like Aave has a sort of like I think like 4,000 or 5,000 transactions per second. That's basically already more than if I remember correctly, it's already more than Avalanche or Phantom stuff. So on scalability, for the mass adoption, I think Aave is also great at scalability for having a one single layer of proof of work with great transaction per second. So speaking also about the mass adoption or utility. So we jump on to the next one. So basically we have interoperability bridge. So like we have to deal with a lot of stuff about utility or developers companies. So basically like we need to know like who or the consumers, or if the protocol is really valuable. So if it's really valuable, I think many people are going to use it, adapt to it, and also to do free marketing to others. Like for example, I think let's say Johnny, I think this is awesome a storage protocol. So I think that I will recommend that to you. So like you can store data on this protocol. I think it's awesome because you can deal with like one payment and don't have to deal with others other troubles. So speaking of this free marketing, we have to see the adoption level or the utility level between different blockchains and applications. Like for Aave, we have the Solar Bridge, Solana, Matic Bridge, Near Bridge in development. Not sure if it's completed. So like Polkadot Bridge in development, Arbitrum Bridge, Cardano Bridge, ETH, and by Virtual Bridge, Evermore, NFT specific bridge. So basically these bridges are very important for analyzing the utility level for blockchain storage for the interoperability part. So basically, if there are more bridges, it's more interoperable. So basically, it has more level of utility. So like speaking about the next one, we also have to see the level of applications that if we have a lot of applications that build on the umbrella, the infrastructure. So basically, Aave is also an infrastructure layer, layer one layer, and also is responsible for storage, like the layer 5 layer of the layer 5 for Web3. So basically, we have a list of 17 applications like let's say jump on some protocols like Pianity. Pianity is like applications for music NFT, MP3, the decentralized MP3. Basically, we also have the the FQRV. So FQRV is a supply chain management application for storing the supply chain information on the Aave blockchain. Basically, we also have Ever Finance for DeFi, so we pretty much know about DeFi, for our audience. So like also have Evermore, like a permanent web is a permanent web that I directly store the HTTP, the format of the web onto Aave directly. So let's jump on to the next one. Is basically apart from adoption of storage, with the applications interoperability, bridge, and also the cost is economic incentives. We also have computing. So basically, on the building side, we have to know about the cloud storage. So I think speaking about this, do you have any thoughts or any ideas or any questions about that, Johnny?
Yeah, I like the thing that you mentioned about Aave. That you just mentioned that. Let me get back to the last slide. Aave uses a different consensus model, right? It's a second proof of random access. I think it's and also it offers a new thing about Aave is that it has permanent storage. So like these two things are what makes Aave standing out. So because this consensus model SPOR is kind of new to our audience. Some other more common consensus models like proof of stake, proof of work, and also proof of history, like what Solana is using. They are all different. So I'm a little bit curious about the proof of random access here. So I've read about the this new consensus model. It's actually when an old validator completes a block, and then a new block is it appears, right? A new block appears when a validator randomly finishes another block, right? So can you Dave, explain a little bit more about what's good about having the skin proofs of random access, right?
Yes, that's an proof of random access. So
yeah,
I call it SPOR. So in SPOR, we have a very great consensus model. So like on Aave, basically it's like Cessna proof of random access is basically proof of access, like proof of access to a file. So whenever you store, basically you can you have to access the file. So whenever you can access your file, it's a complete of the proof of work, proof of access. So whenever you can deal or you have completed this process, you gotta pay the miners. So miners cannot demand a lot of fees until they completed or they complete the process of random proof of access. That's the standpoint of Arif. So for like random part is random access part is like if you store on the data on a blockchain, basically you are randomly building, or the blockchain network will randomly select which part of the content of the inside your protocol that I have to be stored. So basically, like you are in distributing your content randomly to different miners. So no miners are having a complete part of your content or storage data. So basically, that random part also increases the probability, or of the retrieving or accessing your data. So like if I let's say the past example is like I'm talking to Jim Cramer. So also we have a lot of soundtrack, video track, intonation, like video background data, pictures and stuff. Maybe 40 minutes are storing the JPEG, and 60 minutes are storing the soundtrack, and like 20 minutes are storing the the background information. So basically, more people are storing a repeated version of your data on a random like proof of work. So basically, if you access data, so the miners do not know about which part of the soundtrack, like content or background data, background information of a video. So basically, it's like you're accessing your data and storage randomly. So that's the great thing about the solution for Ari.
Yeah,
So
I think the permanent thing is actually what makes it outstanding, right? Because you mentioned that other protocols don't have they don't offer the permanent storage this utility for users, right? So if I have an NFT and I want to store it, and then the NFT will be stored permanently on the blockchain, and that's kind of interesting, and also what makes it different from other protocols, right? And I read about the Arweave protocol, and also I think one thing that I also like about it is that in if we have data decentralized, and then some data are more rare than other data, like so where people maybe have more data about a certain topic because it's more trending. However, other pieces of information are rare in nature, right? So I read there some characteristics of their consensus model is that the miners are incentivized to replicate the rare parts of data, so that we can keep the rare parts of data more to protect them in case some information is lost, right? So I think it's really an interesting thing about Arweave. And also these characteristics are what make Arweave more competitive in terms of other, when comparing to other protocols, right? So yeah, so I think we have we've discovered we have covered a lot of topics about storage, and also computing, and now I think maybe we can still spend a bit of time talking about this slide, right? So you mentioned something about artificial intelligence, also machine learning, also deep learning. What do they have to do about the blockchain development in current Web 3.0 stage, right?
so I think like computing and artificial intelligence are very important in like decentralized computing. So basically, I think like for example, artificial intelligence. So like basically, what they are doing with the balance, the major hamper, or the the development is basically like they don't have enough data to feed the artificial intelligence models to process or build a great processing model to learn and to machine learn the whole data set. The setback is like the privacy. It's like if you have data, you can give other machines to learn as soon as you own the machine, right? You own the code or you own the software. But basically, if you're consumers, so you're the consumer and you do not want to other people to know about your data. So basically, you don't release or you don't sell data to other machines to learn about data. So the thing is like there are a lot of artificial intelligence software, but you can't, or they just don't have the enough capacity or the channels or the tunnels for access to your data. So on a blockchain network, basically, because like your data is encrypted, you have a private key and public key, two keys, basically, even though they know your data or you can sell your data on that network, on these blockchain protocols, so like they don't really know who you are. So your privacy is protected. So you can also sell data if you want, in a not an anonymous way. So that's basically a great solution for blockchain artificial intelligence. Yeah.
Right. I think yeah. Thank you, Dave, for educating us a lot about Web 3.0 and also Arweave and also the new things about Web 3.0 storage, computing, and also something about what makes Arweave standing out from other protocols. So for just a few takeaways for our audience, Web 3.0, we have now more utilization of storage. So we can store our data on a decentralized way on the internet, right? We have Arweave, we have Filecoin, we have hosts. These three protocols are making new development in the space, and also they are making storage more I would describe more I would describe it as phenomenal, because it's absolutely a new kind of way to store our information, and also we have different ways to access it, and also it protects our privacy, it offers us security, and also we can store our information in a secure way, so that no one knows what maybe I have something that I don't want others to know that I'm storing, and then I can do it with these protocols, right? And these are some interesting things that we are seeing them having more utilization. They are more they're developing over over this period, and it's absolutely more is absolutely worth spending time to study them, right? And another thing that I want to cover here is social finance. So in the last bull cycle, we have the explosion of the decentralized finance. So what's social finance? Social finance is like connecting social media and also with cryptocurrency. So you can imagine that. Let me take a metaphor. Right? Game finance. What is game finance? Game finance is like connecting some games with cryptocurrency. So like if you play a game, you can play to earn. So in terms of social finance, you can socialize to earn. It's like a new kind of new kind of things here. So we have a lot of we maybe have heard of like Facebook developing their metaverse, and probably I think they actually offered a long ago, but they abandoned it due to some legal disputes. But I think some protocols are going to adopt the model that Facebook tried to develop, like incorporate currency into social media. So like I want to mention a protocol is called Torum, Torum. It's actually it's actually a social media platform that it's just like Instagram and also Facebook. You can post whatever you like on the platform, and you can also have staking. You can earn a reward. And also what's special about Torum is that they also have a NFT platform. So let us just browse through their website that I came across, right? Dave, can you see the NFT marketplace on Torum?
Cool, I can see that.
Yeah. Let's just scroll through the Torum the social media platform. It's like this. You can post something that you like here, and then you can like this if you think it's interesting, if it interests you. And also they have some clans here. What clans are is actually communities, different communities. So what they are doing here is they are trying to boost development of different communities, because what drives social finance is it's actually actually the same with other protocols. With more adoption, then we can have more utilization, and also we can boost the protocol to with more people use it, and then it's just going to get better, because we can also help improve the platform, and also we have give our ideas, and also to improve something like maybe user interface, we can improve it, and also some mechanisms that we try to, you know, make it better, and we can also give our opinion. And it's kind of interesting that we are seeing a lot of clans here. So they are trying to build some communities here, but, you know, currently it's still kind of, you know, a new thing to most of us. So we are not seeing a lot of people using it, right? The adoption rate is not that big comparing to, you know, Facebook and Instagram. You know, these are some mass social media platforms. If they are going to adopt, you know, this model, like, you know, incorporating NFT marketplace, and also wait a minute here. And if they are going to, you know, incorporate the NFT marketplace and, you know, a lot of things here, imagine what creators and also other people can do on, you know, social media platform, right? You don't have to, you know, if you want to purchase an NFT, you know, offered by an artist or a creator, you don't have to, you know, just go to another website, maybe OpenSea, and then you have to go through a lot of process to, you know, to acquire the piece of NFT. You can just, you know, acquire here. They can all actually offer their pieces of arts here on the Torum NFT marketplace, and it makes things more convenient, and it's actually incentivizing people to, you know, use social media to grow their communities and also to adopt cryptocurrency. NFT is, you know, just another product of, you know, the incorporating cryptocurrency in social media. So let's look at, you know, Torum Finance. It's actually combining, you know, not just only social media. You can see out what other people are doing. You cannot you can also just you know, look at the NFTs, what other people's are, you know, liking, and also you have, you know, the liquidity farming here. What it does is actually, you know, staking your Torum, and also liquidity BNB token here. Maybe they're trying to, you know, incentivize you to use their token so that, you know, they offer Torum Finance. But currently, I don't see that the Torum Finance is, you know, having a lot of utility comparing to other, you know, more well-developed and also mature decentralized protocols like RE Compound and also other protocols. It's still, you know, very early stage in social finance, and I think we are going to see more and more utilization here. Imagine if they also launch not only launch NFT, but they also have, you know, the cross chain swapping. So you know, you can imagine that people, different community have different tokens, and they can swap their tokens for whatever purposes they want. And then you know, just another way that, you know, finance is being incorporated in social finance. You know, what, in my opinion, I think what the cryptocurrency you know, the industry lacks here is more adoption. What we are trying to do is, you know, urge people, you know, incentivize people to use cryptocurrency. And I think, you know, social finance is definitely, you know, the catalyst, I would say the catalyst to boost cryptocurrency to another level, right? So because we all use social media, right? We all use social media. We have Facebook, we have Instagram, and we have WeChat, a lot of things. So imagine if we can combine all of them into one single product that's going to offer, you know, a lot. That's not very decentralized, but whatever. I think some protocol is going to make it very competitive and also very, I would say, well-rounded. And then people are going to use it with more adoption, and then we are going to see a lot more interesting ideas and also more utilization that is going to benefit most of us in terms of, you know, making decentralization a more easily accessible technology to us. So, you know, there are other projects that, you know, social finance have. For example, like personal tokens. What personal token is that some artists and also you know, creator can, they can actually launch their own token on some maybe own their platform. There's one platform called Only One. That's actually a place where creators and other artists can actually launch their own tokens. People can stake in this token. It's like investment, right? You invest in this person and you own this person's tokens. You can also take it as an NFT. So it's kind of interesting. You can, you know just if you have time, you can go through it by searching personal tokens. It's kind of interesting thing. Also, we have gone through the social media tokens, and we've gone through some community tokens. So this thing I want to, you know, we don't have a lot of time right now, so maybe we'll leave this thing to next week's episode. We'll cover what Rally is. So what I think about social finance future is, like, you know, I just mentioned, social media connects most of us. And if we have cryptocurrency incorporated in social media, we're definitely boosting the adoption of cryptocurrencies, right? What's your opinion on this, Dave? You have anything to, what do you think about it? Social media plus cryptocurrency.
Yeah, I think that's very important. So although we already passed through the time, we 1 hour. So I think very important. Like social media never effect. Very important. Never effect for analyzing or finding a gem. Never effect. How many ventures supporting? Are the ventures are going to pump down the token, or they are going to hold it until the end? And also, the founders, are they dumping their tokens or they're holding? Developers, and also the roadmap. Are they having good network effects on the roadmap? Publish marketing and stuff.
Yeah, right. So let's discuss it. Next week we have one more special guest coming in. His name is Spence, and we can spend some time, talking about social finance, and probably we'll spend more time, talking about, the, some macro stuff, and also, more trading side, because Spence is also an experienced trader. So we are going to have some good conversation next week. So make sure to stay tuned. And also in the last event, we have Candydrop. Yeah. So this is long waited. Make sure you try to earn crystals, and also you spend 30 crystals to join the Candydrop event, or you can trade and also earn. Also participate in the Candydrop event if you have enough trading volume. And also by these two methods, you can earn Candydrop tokens. So they are randomly distributed to registered participants. So it will be delivered within 12 hours. So we'll also select one lucky star who will get 1,000 USDT. So the lucky star will be notified by SMS. So make sure you are using the Huobi app to join the Candydrop event. And yeah, stay tuned. Thank you for listening. And yeah, see you next week. Thank you. Peace.